ho! Halloween is upon us, and we are going to review something appropriate, a science fiction horror classic, The Thing, the video game. Every year I play with the idea of doing something Halloween themed, but since 2015 I haven't done anything remotely like that, and that's about to change. So here is the ESCalation Halloween Special 2021. We've even dressed up our fox in a witch costume. How festive. You guys had the choice in this Twitter poll. RJ McReady came in second place. But spoiler, we did him anyways for obvious reasons. As this channel is more focused on video games, I of course wanted to show the Thing video game to you. But since I assume a lot of people might not have seen the movie upon which the game is based, I thought, let us quickly have a look at the movie first and then get into the full game tomorrow. In case you're watching this in the future, a link to the video review is in the end card and in the video description, of course. So let's switch from the jolly Halloween theme to the actual movie. And just a quick thing, this ain't a spoiler-free video. And it's not for general audiences. It is a John Carpenter horror movie after all.
Yeah, fuck you too!
John Carpenter's 1982 science fiction horror movie The Thing is a movie largely misunderstood at the time. On release it was ripped apart by critics. Audiences slowly began to appreciate it more and more over time, to it being considered a classic masterpiece nowadays. Often heralded as Carpenter's best movie, although that's of course up to debate and personal taste. While the movie may not conform to modern horror film conventions, it still holds up very well today. It does not go from one jump scare to another and can be considered a slow burn, which is a positive in my opinion. It slowly builds up characters and tension. And even on the Blu-ray high-definition release, the vast majority of the effects do not look dated. Very much unlike the effects in the 2011 prequel, and that's the only time I'm going to mention it. It does not look great there.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
The practical effects give this movie a more haptical feeling, like it is actually there. Yes, you see those are puppets and costumes, but it's real. It's there. It looks better. Computer-generated effects for monsters and special effects are hard to come by in this movie. The creators relied on the classic art of matte paintings, stop motion, animatronics, and good old-fashioned costumes and makeup.
That we had to find a piece of high ground on the back lot because I didn't like working from a tower. Unnecessary anyway, because the back lot at that time was very plain and very hilly. So we found a high spot and laid the sheets out and just placed the people in the appropriate position.
The reliance on practical effects keep this movie remarkably fresh looking, discounting of course a few wishy-washy moments here and there, down to the fact that the movie was no gigantic blockbuster production. Nonetheless, with the $15 million budget, the budget was not on the low end. And with its $19 million box office in North America, plus international sales, it can't be dismissed as a flop. Nonetheless, critiques at the time called it a disgusting slaughter and gore fest. The author of the original novel The Thing was based on, John W. Campbell, was not flattered by this interpretation of his work. The original 1938 book Who Goes There was already adapted into a movie called The Thing from Another World in the early 50s, making John Carpenter's classic a remake. A remake that, unlike many other remakes, is now considered to be much better than the original. John Carpenter's The Thing differs massively in tone and style from the 1951 original movie. Carpenter's rework was massively influenced by H.P. Lovecraft's work. We here in Germany know The Thing as Das Ding aus einer anderen Welt, which is simply a translation of the old 1951 title. So for this video, I grabbed a buddy of mine and we had a look at The Thing from Another World, and we're going to take you along for the ride. In the opening credits we see a spaceship entering Earth's orbit, seemingly in an uncontrolled manner. The movie then opens with a chase scene. A helicopter pursues a dog through the frozen wasteland of Antarctica. This dog reaches an American outpost and seeks refuge with the Americans. The helicopter crew lands and suffers an accident in which they blow up the helicopter. The surviving crew member pursues the dog on foot, who is now with the Americans. He shouts at them in Norwegian and then opens fire at the dog.
Kom der weg, idioter!
Misunderstanding the situation, the Norwegian pilot is killed in self-defense by the American station commander.
US number 31 calling McMurdo, urgent.
The men of the station attempt to report this incident, but as we learn, they have been unable to contact anyone for a while. They take in the dog that the helicopter was chasing, and unlike the station's crew, the audience quickly learns that something is not quite right with this dog. The men of the American research outpost decide to investigate what happened, and the station's doctor is flown over to the Norwegian station by R.J. McGreedy, a pilot attached to the crew of Outpost 31 and the movie's point-of-view character for the most part. Life returns to normal at Outpost 31 while the two men are off investigating. Over at the Norwegian outpost, they find it completely in ruin, burned and scorched. They find signs of a fight that must have taken place. A man frozen in the seat where he took his own life, video cassettes, and a mysterious block of ice out of which the Norwegians must have extracted something. Back outside, they find the burned remains of a creature that is unknown to mankind. Later, back at Outpost 31, they perform an autopsy to find it does have organs just like you and me, yet it's a bit unconclusive what it actually is. It's a normal living being, just a very strange one. Or is it? People are slightly on edge. The discovery is unnerving, but things continue as normal. The Norwegian dog who has been living with the crew and has roamed the facility freely is now put into the kennel with the other sled dogs, as its behavior is annoying some of the crew members. There we witness for the first time the true nature of what has been hiding inside the dog. A massive commotion in the dog kennel alerts the men. They rush to the dogs just to find them absorbed into something resembling the creature they had laying on their autopsy table.
Mac wants the flamethrower. Mac wants the what? That's what he said, now move!
Everyone is visibly disturbed and in shock, and in an instance of quick thinking they bring in a flamethrower to destroy the seemingly unnatural beast. The following day, the remains of the mutated dog creature they burned are examined, and it is surmised that the creature must be able to replicate and absorb organisms around it and that come in contact with it, which is additionally worrying since the Norwegian dog roamed freely in the facility. The Norwegian videotapes reveal that the Norwegians found what appears to be a flying saucer in the ice.
Here. This is it, the place where they're spending most of their time.
Pretty nasty out, Mac. 35 knots.
Screw it, I'm gonna go up anyway.
McGreedy and two others fly over to investigate and find a frozen spaceship. Upon their return from the ship, they decide to move all the creatures into a locked section of the camp. For that, they remove all their stuff from a storage room and move in the dead creatures. While they are moving out the material, the assistant biologist wants to talk to McGreedy to discuss head biologist Blair's findings. Blair concluded with the help of a computer simulation that the Thing infection could quickly take out the entire world population and that the organic matter in the burned remains of the creatures was not entirely dead. Thus, absolute incineration must be guaranteed.
Bennings was right there, Mac. I swear to God it had a hold of him.
Before the conversation ends, one of the men in the storage room is befallen by the remains of those creatures and is the first crew member to go down. Amidst the chaos, biologist Blair destroys the chopper, kills the dogs and takes out the communication room. He must have realized the Thing infection must be prevented from leaving the station at all costs. The rampage is stopped and Blair is subdued, then locked into a tool shed outside. The next day, the doctor comes up with the idea of comparing everyone's blood to their blood stored in the infirmary, to find out who is real and who is an imitation, as the takeover by the Thing must surely change the makeup of their blood. They commence with this plan only to find out the blood reserves have been destroyed. From there on out, it is complete distrust and mayhem.
Hey, wait a minute, man. I want to come back inside, don't you understand it? I'm all right, I'm much better, and I won't harm anybody. You gotta let me come back inside.
Social cohesion of the crew falls apart until MacReady takes control and establishes who's the Thing once and for all.
You see, when a man bleeds, it's just tissue. The blood from one of you things won't obey when it's attacked. It'll try and survive. Crawl away from a hot needle, say.
Yet, more mayhem ensues, and the remaining men struggle to fight and destroy the alien infestation. The survivors decide to destroy as much as they can after they discover the Thing even tried to build an escape vehicle.
What is it? Something he's been making.
It's a ship of some kind.
This monster must be thousands of years old, having accrued the knowledge of possibly hundreds of species before crashing on Earth. This enemy strikes from the shadows until it is strong enough. Its physical and mental capabilities increase with size, the smallest entities seemingly only looking to survive. Bigger things try to run and then take over stronger hosts. The ability to alter the form to whichever shape is advantageous makes this Thing a particularly devious foe, even if vulnerable in the open. It makes for a very interesting thing to fight, and a very interesting movie subject. If you got some time today, maybe check out the movie. It's awesome. This wasn't a normal review, as I retold large chunks of the movie so you get a picture of that Thing for the video game review to come, which picks up right after the events of the movie. For that video game review, I hope to see you tomorrow. And if you are looking for a good horror movie to watch, The Thing is a solid piece of movie. I'm usually not big on horror movies. Most of the ones I saw lately rather annoyed me. I saw The Conjuring and all its offshoots a while ago, and I found those movies, let's say, predictable. The Thing, on the other hand, hits all the right buttons for me. It does not rely on religious superstition stuff. I mean, the possibility of a deadly disease or bacteria frozen in the ice, that's actually real. Not to the extent of the movie, and most likely not of alien origin. Nonetheless, this is a bit more plausible than, let's say, some evil spirit in a doll or a household sponge. Hats off to John Carpenter, and of course also the original author.
I know you gentlemen have been through a lot. And when you find the time, I'd rather not spend the rest of this winter tied to this fucking couch!
I hope to see you tomorrow for part 2 of the Halloween special, the review of the Thing video game. So maybe click that subscribe button so you'll get a reminder tomorrow. And now the last thing to do is to thank our Patreons who got to see this video before everyone else. Those wonderful people are Lone Wolf, Zed Gladys, Wrapped in Glass, Cookie, Uncle DG, Harrison Steffens, Plasma, Tome, Rainbow Flash, Grizzlyware, Strange Module, Tainter, Cop Fighter, Inter, Charles Serd, Sir K, and Jared. To them and everyone else, thank you for watching. Hopefully see you guys next time, which will be tomorrow. Until then, have a nice day, and as always, goodbye and guten Tag.